everything from lunches, to the gas that goes into the trucks that deliver things. It's just everything has to be accounted for down to the weight of the product that is going on the truck, because different weights affect how much gas will be used in the truck.
And when we saw Chubby Franklin make his face, we would all make this face.
You unlock this door with a simple registration. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of memes. A dimension of trolls. A dimension of morons. You are moving into a dimension of both factual and unfactual information, of rumours and hopes. You just crossed over into YouTube Fanboy Zone. Hello and welcome back to the channel. So what has King Thrash shook this time? This guy is a very nervous man. He seems to be upset about a lot of things at the moment, and he keeps making videos about expressing his anger on things. This time it's about this.
One of the best reviewed games of all time. And we found out recently that after a 2-year selling period, the title had done, 10 million. Neil Druckmann on the Keeley show said a little over 10 million or over 10 million. You don't say, if you can say 11 million, you say 11 million. It's somewhere between 10 and 11. I think that's fair to say based on what he said. And that seemed to me kind of low and kind of like, I don't imagine Sony would be too thrilled with that.
They said, we're also proud to announce that The Last of Us Part 2 has surpassed 10 million copies sold. And part of me was like, what? That's all?
Yeah, I said
That's
the same
one
thing. It seemed lower.
Yeah, I was like, that's 1 in 12 PS4 owners. This is a marquee game from your biggest team, and they only sold 10 million copies. I'm like, that's not good.
And as a result, King Thrash done a response video, as he always does, because he just bounces straight into things without even thinking about what he's going to say, basically. So he done a long response video, and a lot of it was taken up by him basically waffling. I'm not even going to show the video because it's absolute crap. It's him doing maths for 30 minutes. I can tell you now, if you need to learn math, marketing, or any kind of economics from this guy, you're in a really bad place. Also, if you wasn't aware, he drives a truck for a living for Coca-Cola. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We need delivery men. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I'm not judging his lifestyle or his life or anything about that. But what I won't do is take advice, especially in economics and such, from a guy that drives a truck for Coca-Cola all day long and doesn't have really much input or knowledge of anything, to be honest, from what I can gather. Because one of the points firstly, his main point was he goes into massively about the price of games going up to $70 and damage controlling for why they're doing that, and he goes into the weight because of the weight of the product, which is absolute bollocks. Secondly, still him and many others are still under the illusion that if, for example, Sony sell a game for $60, they make $60, that's all profit. It's not. So I'm going to go into that. So I'm not really going to go too much into his video. I just want to do a sort of a breakdown video, just to give an idea of where your $60 and $70 is going. I also want to state the massive irony and stupidity on his part of his entire video, because he spends a video of trying to explain to you and tell everyone that's watching why games need to be $70. And this is because Sony is not making enough money. Then goes on to give The Last of Us 2 sales, the 10 million people that bought it, goes on to talk about how they made 400 million from profit from that game. So on one hand, he's going, these games need to be $70 because they need to make more money, they're not making enough money. And then goes on to say they made 400 million from it. So I don't think he can comprehend the stupidity, why they need a rise in costs, why you need to put that games up from 60 to 70 when they've already made 400 million from a $60 game. Does he really think, is he under the illusion, which I think many of them are, that if all these games bump up to 70, for one, you're going to get better quality? You're not. I can guarantee you those the games won't go up in quality. Other than what technology already takes anyway, these games won't improve. Secondly, you think that extra $10 from every game sold will go to devs. So if you call a profit, they're going to go, oh, we made extra profit, which I'll go into. Extra profit here. let's just give it all to devs. Let's just, yeah, devs have it all. We've raised the price of games so you can have more money. That's not how it works, I'm afraid. So let's have a look at this diagram. So this chart, basically, I had a look on the internet, see what I can get better versions. This is, I think, the most sort of nicest one to look at. This basically breaks down where your $60 goes to. So you've got art design gets 25% of the 60, 20% goes to programming, retail gets 20, console developer gets 11.5, marketing gets 11.5, packaging 5%, and other is 5%, and then publishing get profit 2%. By no means am I saying this thing's the definitive, the definite how it goes, percentage wise, but I think it's more or less. I think it's about 5 years old. Things change, you know, over time, etc., or different percentages might be given to different things. These percentages could be off, but this is just sort of an angle, an idea of where you get to see where your actually money goes. It doesn't like $60 just go to PlayStation. They go, here's $60. Someone's bought this game. Have $60. It doesn't work that way, which King Thrash himself and many others seem to be under that delusion that that's what happens. So a lot of his calculations were based on Sony making $60 profit from each game sold. Incorrect, because I'm now going to show you what I did now is make a nice little spreadsheet, because that's what I do, and show you sort of the breakdown and how much they're actually making from $60. If the game was sold at $60, had 10 million sales, how much are they actually making from that $60? So here it is, let me explain this to you. So at the top you've got the cost, which is 60, you've got the budget, which King Thrash said is 100 million, and then copies sold was 10 million. So from that, I've estimated that based on the percentage that you've got the cost, which will be a minus, and then you've got what PlayStation earns. So retail, that will be a minus of PlayStation's money, because they won't make money, that's where the retailer makes money. Packaging, that's where the cost will be to packaging. PlayStation won't make money on packaging. So there's some minuses there and some pluses there, as you can see where PlayStation would make money. And so this is kind of an estimate as well. This is what I'm sort of averaging from that sort of pie chart, where who would make what. And there's also to take into account things like first and second party and third party deals, like games first party, PlayStation, as you've shown here, because it's first party, they would make more of benefit on some of the things, but then if it was second party, the second party dealer would make more money than PlayStation. They would only make things like the console and the publisher profits. So let's get into this. Right, so $60, £100 million budget, 10 million sold. So physical. So if it was all the copies, because this is the other thing you don't take into account, and always assumes they're all physical copies. It assumes everyone buys physical. No. Because just remember, when you're buying a game at $60, you're buying it 60 physical and or 60 digital. Now that's the other question why they were saying let's raise games to 70, you know, because they deserve the money. Digital games to make a lot less than physical games to make, and that's quite simply because, well, if you make a digital game, there'll be no retail costs or packaging costs because it's digital. So Sony would make more money off the game if it's digital than if it's physical. And this is why they're pushing physical. And 90% of gamers now buy digitally compared to physical, even though there's a bunch of stands that seem to claim demand physical, everything, everyone wants to buy physical, yada yada yada, that nonsense. Vast majority of gamers are buying digital. And the price of digital isn't dropped, it's still exactly the same price as physical. So get your head around that. But anyway, yeah, so let's say 100% of copies are physical. So Sony, for each game sold, they would make roughly about $30. So if you sold a physical game for 60, they'd make roughly about $30, which would bring them in 300 million, minus 100 million because that's how much the budget costs. So they make 200 million from 10 million copies sold at 60. So they still make a profit. That's still a good bit of money, 200 million. If it was digital, if they sold all digital, they would make 350 million after the 100 million budget taken off. So they make $350 million. So if it was all physical copies, 200 million. If it's all digital, 350 million. So because they'd make $45 per game. So they'd make $350 million digital, $350 million from digital. So vastly better than physical, as you can see. So you can see why they're pushing digital over physical. But I've down to calculated below that obviously not everyone buys all digital or not everyone buys all physical. So I put in the breakup here. So if 80% bought digital and 20% obviously bought the physical, they'd make 40 million off the physical buyers and 280 million off the digital buyers, for a total of 320 million they would have made on sales. So they roughly made out 320. I calculated 320 million from The Last of Us 2 for selling 10 million copies, which is it's great. It's great. So that's minus the 100 million they would have it could take to develop the game. So that's 320 million profit. That's 320 million profit after everything's come out. So that's great. They've made quite a bit of money there. So from that, you can understand why people like me will question why they're raising the games from 60 to 70. At $60, they're making 320 million profit at least. Mice could be out slightly, but they're making hundreds of £1,000,000 of dollars profit. So why the raise in the extra $10? Why raise games to $70? Now so just out of curiosity, let's look how much money they would have made if it was $70. And here we are, $70, 100 million budget, 10 million sold. All the costs obviously varied slightly. They're making, instead of $30 now per game, they're making $35. Instead of, I think it was $45, they're making $53 per game, $70. And as you can see now, the total profit is now 390 instead of 320. So they've made a difference of 70. They've saved 70 million more pounds by raising the game by just $10. They've made 70 million more dollars, I should say, not pounds, more dollars. So they've made $70 million more dollars. Do you think that will go into development? Do you think they're going to go, here developers, you've done such a good job. Bear in mind, the developer costs have already come out. They've already paid the developers, as we've established. The 100 million at the beginning goes into development of the game, the budget. They've already budgeted for the developers now. They've already got their money. Everyone's already got their money. So where is that $70 million going to go? Where are they going to do it? You think, hey, developers, here's a Christmas bonus, $70 million. Wink, wink. This is going to be pocketed by Sony. And you're deluded if you think this will go back into gaming. I imagine maybe a certain percentage of it may go into gaming, go back into the games or gaming revenue or whatever. But Sony will pocket a lot of this. Why? Because they've got a lot of debts to get rid of, and they've made quite a few transactions at the moment, and they've just bought Bungie that cost them $3 billion, and now they might be sued for $5 billion for. They won't go into that right now. But they might be sued for $5 billion for misleading gamers. But yes, so they've got a lot of debts to pay, and they've got a lot of stuff to do with their money. They're a business at the end of the day, and they need to make money. They're not thinking, oh man, should we make money? Or no, I'd rather just sort of really just give our money away and really look after gamers because we're such a lovely, friendly, homely company. No. So there it is. That's my perception on it. Whether you want to pay your $70, it's up to you. I don't care how you spend your money. I don't care what you do with your money. I just want to put it out there that if don't be under any delusion, or don't be persuaded otherwise that this money is going to go to developers, or it's going to go and make all your games much better quality. Case in point, Gran Turismo 7 costs $70. It's full of microtransactions, and it doesn't look it doesn't look $70. GT Sport looked better. Another case in point, Godfall, $70. Yeah, you can see my point now, can't you? If you're thinking these games are... Paul Rock recently spoke on Gaz Gaming Daily and sort of went more or less saying the reason why they're raising the games is because their games are better quality. There is no evidence of this whatsoever. There's no evidence of their games. They're doing cross-gen games. They're doing remasters. There's no evidence so far that their games are selling. And will the Xbox pursue it? Yes, Xbox will most definitely. Well, firstly, yes, because one, if it gets pushed so hard, they'll have to probably push up, because that is how inflation works. Everyone will rise up to the sort of the highest denominator like that. That's how it works. So Xbox will, because if everyone's bending the knee and saying, yeah, we don't mind paying 70, Xbox might as well go, well, we might as well charge 70 then. If everyone's happy to charge 70, that's how it works. I don't want it to work like that, but it will. And the only saving grace, obviously, is Xbox's first party will be in Game Pass Day 1. So games won't cost me 70. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that short, kind of brief explanation. Let me know in the chat what you think, what your opinion is. It all. Where do you stand on $70 games? I mean, I don't care really if you're going to buy it if you think it's great. I don't really care how you spend your money. What I don't like people doing is forcing the market because it makes me pay $70 for games when I don't want to. So that's what I don't like, and that's why I'll push back on it. It's not so much that people say, "Oh, but it doesn't affect you," or "Well, I want to pay $70 for games." That's great. If I was rich, I could say, "Well, I want to pay $100 for my McDonald's." But you wouldn't like it if I made you pay $100 for your shitty McDonald's, would you? No, exactly. So put that in the comments, Shado. I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts on it all. Please sub, share, and like. Channel's slowly creeping up in subs. Could do a bit of speeding up just slightly. Thank you. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.